I'd like to talk with you about my recent visit to your classroom.
Okay.
I have a few concerns. I noticed that several of your students were not actively engaged in class. When I asked them about the success criteria and how it aligned with the learning objectives, they seemed confused and said they didn't know because they weren't paying attention at the beginning of class.
Yes, I find that not all of my students are intrinsically motivated, so they sometimes do not take the initiative to engage fully in class. This creates a situation where some students are late with their work and have a general lack of buy-in to the curriculum.
What are you doing to be an effective teacher to ensure that students learn?
I work to build intrinsic motivation by showing my students how their work fits in the bigger picture of their world. I show them how what we are working on in class applies across a broad spectrum of their lives.
I think that's fine, but perhaps you should try to build intrinsic motivation by making everything you do in class a grade. Everything. Even if it's informal or practice, tell your students that it counts.
So you think I will build intrinsic motivation by offering grades as extrinsic rewards or punishment?
Yes. You have to build intrinsic value in the assignment by building a culture of learning. To build a culture of learning, you must have your students value the learning intrinsically. You do that by integrating extrinsic consequences for every action that your students take in your classroom. That's just good teaching.
I'm not sure I have time to grade everything we do in class every period, every day. I have 162 students this semester.
With budget cuts and Senate Bill 191, we have to do more with less.
Less meetings.
No. We will need more meetings to figure out how to do more with less.
Less micromanagement?
No. I'll have to watch you more closely than ever before to make sure you are doing more with less. And being an effective teacher by posting your essential question, your daily question, your learning objectives, your tiered success criteria, and the daily agenda each day on your whiteboard. I'm talking about more work, with less money for salaries and budgets.
Of course.
As we watch you interact with your students, the one question that we always ask ourselves is, what do we do when students don't learn or reach proficiency before expectation? It is one of our 4 critical questions. These questions encompass our strategic plan that uses a best practices approach to guide our paradigm shift. So, what do you do when your students don't reach proficiency before your expectation?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you saying that I should have a plan other than my lesson plan in order to work with students who haven't reached proficiency before I expect them to?
Yes, of course. They need to know what you want them to know before you've taught them about knowing it. That's just good teaching. I can see that this discussion has given you a deeper understanding of our vision building. We will continue to use these questions as our framework moving forward while we use a research-based approach to inform our formative assessments and ensure accountable talk.
Honestly, I have no idea what you just said.
This meeting is a great example of how teammates that trust each other can work together and implement many quality practices that will make us a world-class high school.